Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and joining me here is Jason Cameron. We're going to do a great weekend wrap up of sports as usual. Another beautiful sunny weekend. We had some rain on Friday, but rest of the weekend was pretty darn good. It's nice that the good summer weather's still here.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. It was even better for me because at work there was weekend work.
Um,
I was actually asked and I went, no. No, I turned it down immediately because I knew that Saturday was going to be a late day
okay,
and I wanted to start somewhat on time to watch the UFC because it
nice.
was a big deal.
Yeah, that would have been rough. You having to like look at the clock and think, "Oh man, I want to get out of here," but the UFC's starting. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't have accepted any work for sure on Saturday.
No,
You're,
yeah, it was an immediate no.
yeah, good, good.
Yeah, immediate no. Not
Um,
gonna happen.
I went to this music festival over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All 3 days. We actually won tickets for Friday, and then we purchased tickets for Sunday a couple months ago, and then a friend of mine's band was performing on Saturday, so I ended up getting Saturday tickets as well. So, man, it was pretty unbelievable. There was about maybe close to 100 bands over the 3 days, and yeah, it was really really fun. They have it in Ladner, huge open field they have there. They set up 4 stages and they just start playing music from like noon all the way till 10 o'clock at night every day, and man, it was a really really fun time.
Nice. Um, can you guesstimate how many people were attended over the course of the couple of days?
I would say likely somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 25,000 each day.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
What were some of the acts that were on stage? Like some of the bigger
It
names?
was mostly Canadian classic rock bands. So the big band last night was Loverboy. Loverboy, Wide Mouth Mason, and The Odds were the three main bands on last night. Saturday night it was the Sam Roberts Band, Sloan, Doc Walker, and the band Took that I went to see. My friend Lyle is their manager, so. They were great. Also that day, Billy Bob Thornton, the actor, he's a singer in a band called the Box Masters. He was there, so we went and saw him perform. That was great. Really, really great. Bluesy, really cool music that they perform.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. I
Yeah,
I didn't know that Billy Bob had that kind of talent.
yeah,
Did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah. He's really talented. And then on Friday, the Gloria Sons, the Trues, Coach, Yukon Blonde, and many others. And as I said, there was 4 stages. So as soon as a band would stop performing on the main stage, then the other stage would immediately have a band play. And then there was a third and fourth stage that had bands intermixing through the day. And they had tons and tons of vendors there, lots of food trucks, and yeah, it's great. We went there last year as well, but this year seemed like it was even better, really organized, and it was a really fun weekend. We absolutely loved it.
That's great, man. If you don't mind me asking, how much did tickets cost? Like obviously they were different tiered for all the days or whatever or
Y-
package deal.
Yeah, I think if you got the whole weekend pass, it was like a couple $100 or something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was. I think we were paying about $80 a day or something. So, yeah,
That's pretty good. That's
but they
really good.
had they had VIP and they had, lots
Yeah.
of different tiers and things. But yeah, no, it was worth it, seeing, that many bands and having that much fun. Yeah, we saw people we knew. I ran into my cousin actually there with her daughter, and that was fantastic and saw some old friends. And yeah, we just couldn't have had a better weekend. I feel a bit tired for sure, but it was well worth it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Sounds like a great weekend, man.
I was disappointed that it fell on the same weekend as the outdoor comedy festival that happened in Stanley Park this weekend. You went last year and said you were disappointed and you weren't going to go back. But I heard from some people that went this weekend and they said it was pretty great. They didn't feel gypped. They didn't feel ripped off by short sets and any issues and problems. And man, there was a ton of very, very high end comedians there.
Who was there? Okay, because like I remember what my issues were going to the comedy festival last year, and first and foremost was just access to the venue.
Okay.
Was absolutely horrible.
Okay.
It was just bad. Like it was just really bad to get in and out, and it happened to coincide with the fact that they were doing construction on the Lions game. And so like traffic was just absolutely horrendous. Brutal. It was horrible. Horrible. It was so brutal to the fact that I was just like, this is not actually enjoyable. This is not that enjoyable.
Wow. Yeah, that's too bad. Yeah. Bad timing on the construction and having that happen too. Yeah. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'll read off some of the top acts. So on Friday night, they had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night, Tom Segura was the main act. Bobby Lee, Jessica Kinson, and Dale Ward. And then Saturday had Theo Vaughn, Trevor Wallace, Maddie Smith, and Robert Peng. Sunday had Dan Soder, Andrew Santino, Mark Norman, Ralph Barbosa, and Fahim Anwar, and hosted by Lark Miller. I'm a huge fan of Theo Vaughn, really like Tom Segura, Andrew Santino, all those guys make me laugh, loves whatever they do. And I was disappointed that I had to miss that.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I actually probably would have liked to see Theo Vaughn because like I find him incredibly funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude.
Yeah, when he gets together with Joe Rogan, man, those guys just have a blast. They laugh a ton, and it's always super entertaining. They're really fun. Some other friends of mine went to the Car Free Days over on Main Street. I guess there was 30 bands playing down there. They had the food trucks and the vendors and all the stores along Main Street. I heard there was something like 120,000 people down there too.
Oh wow, man! There's a ton of stuff happening this weekend.
I know.
Super busy, very busy weekend.
Did you get up to much?
Gonna be honest, was pretty tired after that week of work. So I literally took it easy.
Nice.
He had a friend over. We watched the fights together. That was pretty much it.
Cool.
That was the extent of my weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait to break down the UFC. Pretty historic card, pretty incredible visuals. Really great that they did the Sphere. I think it's going to be something that we remember for years and years to come. Like if I just threw out UFC 123, would you be able to tell me who was on that card, who did what? If I said, UFC 216, 243, UFC 78, like, how are you gonna ever remember any of those cards? But UFC Sphere, we just have to say that, and boom, we're gonna remember that for years and years, maybe even decades to come.
I hope, because of just how visually stunning it was. Yeah. My ardent hope is that they do it again.
Yeah.
Because it was so good. Like it was so good. Like it blew my mind just how good the video vignettes in between the fights were. It absolutely blew my mind. Yeah. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It would have been so cool to be there, to see it up front, up close in real life. Although I gotta tell you, them tickets were not cheap.
No.
But
Yeah.
like just seeing it, even just on our TVs and stuff, like I was blown away. I was blown away.
Yeah, I went to the casino and watched it there in the big bar they have there, and it was a big screen, so you know the visuals were just spectacular. I thought it was really cool how they kept the microphones open for Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and they were just like, "Whoa, whoa, can you believe what we're seeing?" And their reaction was great too because you weren't getting you weren't getting that reaction from the rest of the crowd. Everyone was just sort of stunned. There was some videos, and you did send me one of somebody inside the arena, taking a shot of it, and those were just amazing too. Just to actually be there, I think would have been something that we would have never forgot, and just hopefully they can do it again because I'm sure everyone would want to see what the people saw that were lucky enough to be there.
Yeah, man. Like I mentioned it to you. Okay, so you did it for Mexican Independence Day, and whoever put that together, whatever team that was, they deserve an award of some sort.
Yeah.
Because that was absolutely freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I would love if they did that for Black History Month.
Yeah.
It would be that oh my goodness, that would just be so awesome to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately I think Dana's already said we'll never do it again. I hope that's not true.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope that's actually not a thing. And I hope someone or somebody manages to talk him into doing it again because that should not be a one-off. You should do that again.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, the great thing about it was that the gate was the largest live gate that they've ever had, somewhere close to about 23 million. He said that they spent about 20 million on the productions. So that live gate will take care of those upfront costs, which is great. Still haven't seen the pay-per-view buy numbers yet. I was really scouring the internet all day today, hoping that they would get posted somewhere. It hasn't been revealed quite yet, but I'm sure those pay-per-view buys were, one of the highest ones ever. It just seems like they do so many cards in the Apex now that they're kind of just breaking even, maybe not really making much money at all there. To be able to put on such a spectacular thing and at least break even, maybe they didn't want, make a ton of money, but they should be able to do it again as long as it didn't financially break them or put them in the hole.
Right. Exactly. Like if they can just mitigate the cost with the gate, then that they should be able to do it. But UFC is about making money, not just about breaking even. So I get it. At the end of the day, it's a business. But man, would it be cool if they did that again?
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of awards, you mentioned the those people that put the videos together should get awards. The Emmys were held this weekend. You talked about the people that help run our art department went down to LA a week or two ago for the Emmys. It was actually the creative side of the Emmys. This was the actual full Emmys that they had this Sunday. They won 14 awards a week or two ago, whenever that creative side part of the Emmys was. They won another 4 awards on Sunday, bringing their total to 18 awards. The most decorated show of all time for the Emmys. 18 Emmys that they won for Shogun, and I think it bodes well for Vancouver being able to put on that type of a massive production winning that many awards, I think we'll be able to get a lot more bigger and bigger and bigger shows going forward.
Put us on the map.
Yeah.
Like, because they smashed the record. Whatever the record was, that show utterly decimated it. So it just goes to show we have extremely talented people here on this side of the border, and we can handle a show of that immensity, and we can do it well. We can do it so well that we're just going to win Emmys, a lot of them. That's how good we are.
Yeah, very cool. So that's great. I'm really thrilled. I'm glad that a Vancouver-based show did so well down there. The other big winner on the night was the Bear. It broke its own record for wins. It had won 10 last year. Now it won 11 awards yesterday. That show gives me a lot of anxiety. Did you ever watch The Bear since it's been out?
I have no idea what it's even about. No, I don't. What is it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it takes place mostly in a very busy kitchen, and all the working towards getting the food out to people in a timely fashion, tasting very good, looking very well, and they're just always just so much tension trying to get it done and stuff, and it's a great show, but it just seems like the whole time I'm feeling so much anxiety. Like it's just the tension is just palpable, and everybody's fighting, and then at the end of the night they all party together and they have fun, and it's a pretty great show. But I don't recommend it to people that feel too much anxiety when they're watching a show and it bothers them that much.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Now, is the show fiction or is it based somewhat in like real life reality?
I think possibly
It's not.
I think possibly the people that created the show worked in kitchens, but it's its own it's a
Okay.
fictionalized restaurant and show. Yeah, so it's just it's just a scripted show. So, but yeah, give it a try. Obviously people love it. Winning that many awards and cleaning up over the Emmys is a huge accomplishment for a show, and most people love it, love that show. So, okay, let's turn to some sports now. There was a big announcement today in the world of sports. Sidney Crosby has been very rumored to be looking for an extension from the Pittsburgh Penguins, the only team he's ever played for in the NHL. And finally, they came to an agreement today. He will be extended for 2 more years. He's 38 years old, so that'll take him to 40. And he amazingly enough, asked for a severe discount so that they could keep paying the rest of the team and build a team around him. The Penguins have missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons, and Crosby said today that it's just not acceptable for him. He has to be in the playoffs. He has to be chasing another Stanley Cup, and he's won 3 cups in his career. Has had such a massively decorated career, but it was really nice to see that he gave the team a hometown discount. He's actually being paid the same amount of money that he was being paid in 2008, 2009 season. So that far back. And, he could have went on the open market and probably got almost double what he got paid there. So he's still an $8 million cap hit, but there's players now that are making up to $15 million a year. So good on him. And, he's still very productive, had a fantastic season this year, 42 goals, 52 assists, played all 82 games for the second year in a row. I just love the guy. I just give him so much props for his entire career and doing this as well to make sure that he can stay with Pittsburgh and bring him back to glory.
The fact that he almost had 100 points at 38, that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And and that he's more than willing to help the team out so that he can find success again.
Yeah.
Because he knows that, time's running out. Time's running out for him. So if he wants to get that 4th Stanley Cup, this is the way to do it, by giving the team the flexibility to go out and get guys or re-sign people or whatever they need to do. So good on him, props on him. The man's a winner, always has been, always will be.
Yeah.
And he's just proven it again by doing this.
Yeah, no, I was really amazed and love to hear it. It just would be strange to see him anywhere else in the NHL. He deserves to be in Pittsburgh and keep with that franchise until the day he retires. That's his 2nd straight season over 90 points. Pushing into his late 30s. He has 592 goals, so he's really close to 600. Just passed 1,000 assists last year with 1,004. And just, still, very relevant. One of the best players in the NHL at his age. Love to see it. The Canucks had their Young Stars camp up in Penticton this past weekend. They put on a bunch of games for the local fans there. 3 other teams come in and bring their young stars, and they play kind of a tournament format. Canucks' last game was this afternoon. Really great energy. Watched some of the games. Listened to them on the radio when we were heading to the music festival. And I think this team's got a very exciting prospect pool coming. Abbotsford's going to be super fun to watch this year. I plan to go to a bunch of games out there. I'm going to have to drag you out back to your hometown and see a game with me out there in Abbotsford. And it's great that they can go to Penticton. The place was sold out. By all accounts, everyone said it was a fantastic tournament. And I'm glad that they put this on every year now. It's a really, really fun event.
Yeah, I'm glad that they do too, especially for the fans of the team and stuff. And just the fact that, the Canucks are good again.
Yeah.
Just that in and of itself. It fills my heart with joy. It really does.
I love it. Yeah. There was a little bit of tough news coming out of Canucks camp, though. Both Thatcher Demko and Artur Silovs are still battling knee injuries. They might not both be ready for the start of the season, start of training camp. They're both battling these knee injuries. Silovs actually decided that he couldn't play with his national team of Latvia in an upcoming tournament or at a tournament that happened this summer. So a little bit of worries there. The Canucks did sign a goalie yesterday. His name is Dylan Ferguson. He is actually a Vancouver Island native originally, but he's played in the AHL, played in the NHL only a couple of games, but he's bounced around. Last year he played in Russia, had a really great year in Russia here, and so they've decided to get some insurance just in case one or both of these guys aren't ready for the start of the year.
Well, you know what? That's smart. That's smart. Just in the eventuality that something isn't quite right or those guys aren't ready, so that they have this guy that can step in and help out the team.
Yeah. And another NHL note, Lucas Raymond, Detroit Red Wings top player, signed an 8-year contract today from Detroit, $64.5 million. That will just give him a little more than $8 million every season, about the same as Crosby there. He led the team last year with 31 goals and 41 assists in 72 points. He is actually the second in his draft class for scoring behind Tim Stützle. So they are happy they wrapped him up. A little bit of unfortunate news today. Alex Ovechkin was practicing and suffered an injury, had to leave the ice. Don't know the extent of it yet, but he's 39 going into his 40th year, and he sits 41 goals behind Wayne Gretzky's record, trying to chase that down this year. Hopefully it wasn't too serious, but lots of video and reports as he hobbled off the ice. Yeah, tough news for Washington and Alex, and it'll be hard if he's banged up heading into the year to try to chase down this record.
Yeah, that kind of sucks because everybody wants to see him break said record. My hope is that he comes into the season in a little bit better shape.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
last season it didn't look great.
No,
Didn't look great.
that's true. Yeah, he would look like a bit of a penguin out there, a little bit of a bowling ball. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of sad news today. Tito Jackson of the Jackson family passed away today at the age of 70. No details on what he died from. He started performing back in 1964 with the Jackson Five. Michael was 6 years old. Tito was the third oldest brother of the Jackson family. And his last performance was last week in England. They were doing a tour. Amazing that he performed from 1964 all the way to 2024 in his career. And another part of the Jackson family is gone now.
Sad day. But at least he did what he loved right up to the end, because he performed for 60 years. Yeah. Think about that for a second. Give that a thought. 60 years of performing on stage for the masses around. That in itself is an incredible accomplishment.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's very amazing. Yeah, we're having some internet troubles tonight. Sorry, people. Hope it doesn't cause any grief. But yeah, Jason and I are freezing a little bit at the end of every conversation, so we're having a short little delay between. Hopefully this gets fixed on its own. I did get a message across the stream that said the internet connection is unstable, so don't know why that is. Sometimes it just happens. So hopefully, as I said, it gets fixed real quick, but we'll keep powering on. A couple weeks ago, the PGA Tour finished their tour championship, and $25 million was handed out to the winner there. The Live Golf Tour ended up their tour individual players this past weekend, and John Rahm won the tour championship there in Chicago. He ended up winning the tournament. He won $4 million for winning the tournament, and he got an $18 million bonus check for winning the whole season-long chase for the tour title. Pretty incredible. He doesn't really need the money after he took $600 million to move over from the PGA to Live, but still very great that he's still chasing down, trying his best, playing at an elite level, was able to hold off all the chasers and win the title. And it was fun golf. Got to watch all 18 holes on Sunday, and I really hope Live keeps going. I think it's a very fun product, and great to see such high level guys there that are playing. They're not getting as much media exposure as the PGA, but it's great to see that they're still playing at a high level and making lots of money over there too.
Yeah, they're not getting the same amount of media exposure, but man, are they getting paid? And I think they're okay with that. Yeah. I think they're very much okay with that part. And also too, they're getting paid for a reason. Because they compete at the highest level, and they continue to keep doing that. And as long as they continue to keep doing that, they'll continue to keep growing the Live brand.
Yeah. Joaquin Neiman ended up finishing second. He got a big fat check as well as an $8 million bonus. Sergio Garcia was third. He won his check for the tournament as well as a $4 million bonus for finishing third. So it was fun. The team championship actually happens this coming weekend in Dallas. So one last tournament, and all the teams will be fighting it out for the big prize money there. There was good news this past weekend. The PGA and the Public Investment Fund ended up meeting together this past week on a few occasions and still are discussing trying to get this merger together. Really hope that they can finally put this to bed and make it happen. It's been way too long. We talked about, I think it was in June last year that they had put together this framework agreement, and then they never ended up signing it into law, and they still haven't done it. So yeah, well overdue.
Oh yeah, well overdue. And just the way it all came about was just that's not the proper way that should have happened. It just is, right?
Totally.
And I hope that they can figure it out and get it done, and then that we can have all of these guys, it can be back to best on best.
Yeah. We had a tournament here in Vancouver today. They were raising money for cancer research, some also some other charity causes. Adam Hadwin was playing, and lots of people turned out. I heard all accounts it was fantastic. The PGA was having the start of their fall schedule this weekend. They had a tournament in Napa Valley. Peyton Kazire ended up winning the tournament at 20 under par. It's called the Pro Core Championship. We had a few Canadians up there. We had Ben Silverman. He was fourth place. Mackenzie Hughes was fifth, and Corey Connors was seventh in the tournament. So great. The Canadians are still active and at it. We only have to wait another week and a half, and we get the President's Cup in Montreal. So great that the Canadians are doing well. Some of the Americans that were in the tournament that will be on the President's Cup on the American side didn't even make the cut, had pretty poor showing. So maybe that bodes well for the international team to compete very highly and possibly win. The international team has never won the President's Cup, so it's long overdue, and it would be nice to have a very, very competitive one compared to some of the others where the Americans have just stomped them. So I was really happy to watch the Canadians do really well, and I hope they can continue that onto the course in Montreal.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great if they could they could really help the international squad with their play, and hopefully the Americans aren't on their game, and maybe we can have like something competitive. Like that would be best for all fans.
That would be so great. Yeah. A few weeks ago, your cousin David Cameron, who does a podcast, said that Red Bull is no longer the fastest car in the F1 series, and it finally came to fruition on the standings. McLaren ended up passing Red Bull in the constructors' standings. They sit 20 points ahead of them after their racer Oscar Piastri ended up getting first place, and it's shocking how Red Bull was so far ahead from everybody. Max Verstappen was so far ahead, and Red Bull, and now McLaren has actually passed them, and looking like might be able to win the constructors title. It's a pretty shocking turn of events, and very good on McLaren for being able to just keep at it and keep at it and keep at it, and finally see all the results come to fruition, and they're in first place, and I think they're not looking back. I think they might be able to win this thing.
Great, that's fantastic because Red Bull has been dominant for so long, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that McLaren has surpassed them, because there has to be some sort of some competition between these guys, right? Like it's not great when one team just dominates the standings for far too long. So I'm glad to see that McLaren is actually doing so well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Ferrari is still chasing them as well, and they're not too far back. They're in third place. McLaren's Lando Norris is the closest competitor to Max Verstappen. He had a very horrible qualifying on Saturday, ended up in 15th place on the starting grid going into the Sunday race, was able to move his way all the way up to fourth in the race, past Max Verstappen, and get a few more points on him. He's closed the gap to 59 points with 7 races to go. So he's still in the mix and still has a legitimate shot to win the individual title. Charles Leclerc was in pole position. He got passed early by Oscar Piastri. He could never catch him. Piastri ended up winning by 11 seconds. This is a really cool race in Baku, Azerbaijan, and the visuals, the buildings, the castles, the new modern buildings they have there. What a spectacular place! I really have to put that on my bucket list of a place to go. It looked incredible, and must be a really fun place to go watch a race.
Yeah, like especially if it's so visually just beautiful like that. Like, and it has the history along with the modern feel as well. That sounds like a place that I need to go to as well and see
Yeah,
myself.
yeah. I think there's a lot of mixed martial artists coming out of there too, which will be fun. You could probably catch a good MMA event there as well. They also raced this weekend in Singapore, and as I mentioned earlier, 7 races to go on that schedule. Okay. Note in baseball, Shohei Ohtani is still on that hunt for the first ever 50 home run, 50 stolen base season in Major League history from one guy. He went into tonight's game with 47 home runs and 48 stolen bases in 146 games. So 16 games to go, still chasing that down. I was watching the game a little earlier, and Dodgers were winning 9-0. I guess that's a final. Shohei didn't hit a home run, but he was on base. He was definitely on base a couple times, and I don't see if he got any steals, but almost every time he gets on base, he steals a base or two. He did get a walk and was on base earlier as well. Scored a run and had 2 RBIs on the season. So it's fun to watch him. Man, this guy is great to watch. Even in a season where he's not pitching, he's still so spectacular. I can't believe how fun this chase is, and I hope a lot of you tune in some Dodgers games. He's once in a lifetime, generational type of player, and we're seeing something very special here.
Maybe just once ever type
Yeah,
of player.
yeah,
We might not ever see anything like this ever again.
ever again.
Ever again.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a big storm brewing over this weekend series between the Red Sox and the Yankees. A lot of people in sports call it the biggest rivalry in sports. They play each other a dozen times a year and have for 100 and something years. There was a little bit of controversy because the Red Sox manager, Alex Cora, basically admitted that his pitcher was trying to hit Aaron Judge when he was up to bat. And one of the Red Sox players, Rafael Devers, had got hit earlier in the game by Garrett Cole, I think by accident. All of a sudden, the Red Sox pitcher started trying to throw at Judge. Luckily, they didn't hit him, but it was pretty surprising that he admitted it out in public. The Major League Baseball has decided to do an investigation and see what has occurred here and try to get to the bottom of it. There could be some fines, there could be some suspensions. Very interesting to hear a manager actually admit this and sort of imply that they were trying to hit him, they just couldn't. So it's kind of crazy. This guy's a big, massive man, and you couldn't hit him, but it was not good that they were trying to all game.
That's not good to admit that. Like,
No.
I can't believe he came out and said, yes, of course we were trying to hit him. Of course we were trying to hurt him. Like, no, man, you can't say that.
No.
Because now that's bulletin board material for the Yankees. The Yankees now are justified in saying, oh, so they want to try to take out our best player. Yeah. Cool. We're fighting now.
Yeah.
And this could be a very interesting series coming forward for the Yankees and Red Sox. I think it's going to be pretty feisty. A lot of emotion.
There definitely will be. Yes, there usually is. And I think this will even amp it up even more. Another huge, interesting story came out of Major League Baseball today. They have Major League Baseball Players Unions have filed 2 separate lawsuits, one against FanDuel and one against DraftKings. They want to be compensated for their name, image, and likeness that's utilized by the betting sites. And they say that it's unfair that they're using them and not compensating them. And they're asking for a lot of money. Don't know how long this fight will be. I don't know, how it'll impact DraftKings and FanDuel, but huge story, I thought, today.
No, that's a massive story. It's a massive story. And I am a little bit surprised because I thought that if you're going to use their name and likeness, whatever it may be, whatever third party, that's immediately, obviously, you have to compensate the player.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they've been getting away with it for so long.
Yeah.
Right? Like that to me, that's the bigger question. Is like, well, how have they been able to do that for so long and get away with it?
Crazy, isn't it?
I don't get that. I don't understand.
Yeah. I guess I would have assumed that they would have been paying them, but somehow they haven't been. So we'll see what shakes out from it. Should be interesting to follow. In the world of soccer, MLS, Lionel Messi finally returned this weekend, playing his first game since June 1st after he got hurt in the Copa America tournament. Of course, he scored 2 goals in Miami's win over Philadelphia. They really have stacked this team around him, though. They were 8-2 without him. So, it's great that they're still doing so well, but obviously very happy to welcome him back. And he comes back after 2 months, 2.5 months off, and scores 2 goals right away.
Yeah, he's still really good. But I wonder if his teammates go, see, we don't need you. You're not that important. We don't need you.
Yeah, right.
You're lucky that you get to play with us. That's how lucky you are.
Right. I doubt it. I doubt it. Yeah. Luckily, the Whitecaps did win. Also in MLS, they won 2-0 over San Jose in California. They scored in the 35th and 86th minute, and still remain in 6th place in the conference. Their next game is just Wednesday in a couple nights. They play Houston down at BC Place, 5:30. So check it out. Good that they got a nice victory over the weekend. College football, another one of those weekends where the top-ranked teams just blew out their competition. I was really disappointed that it was the second week in a row where they just got to beat bottom feeders. The scores were Texas won 56-7. Georgia, number 2, only won 13-12, so that was a little bit surprising against Kentucky, not a powerhouse there. But Alabama won 42-10. Ole Miss won 40-6. Tennessee, 6th ranked, won 71-0. Missouri won. Miami won 62-0 against Ball State. And the Oregon State rivalry, Oregon number 9 won 49-14. So almost all complete blowouts in the top 10, even the top 20. I forgot how college football just really stacks these easy wins.
Uh-oh.
Am I frozen? Can you hear me? Did you lose me? You're frozen, but am I frozen? My audio, my video? Are you still there? Oh man, that's not good.
No, that's not good.
Oh,
That's not good at all.
damn it. I guess I was frozen for you. You were frozen for me.
Oh yeah, like you were on the Oregon State thing, and I'm like, all right, so he's about to wrap it up, and then jet
Bam, just frozen.
froze, and then you didn't come back. It went black,
Yeah.
and then I was like, uh-oh. But now you've come back. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Fingers crossed. That was the worst it's gonna be. Hopefully it's
yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, that's crazy. Okay, one football note before we get into the NFL. BC Lions lost 33-17 to Toronto on Friday. Nathan Rourke had a bit of a tough go. He played the first half, then they decided coming out of the second half, Vernon Adams would take over. Vernon Adams had some trouble, and they actually went to their third stringer. So we got some controversy in BC. The top two QBs in the team were benched. We got the third stringer, and he actually played the best out of all three, which was really bizarre and strange. And his name is Bryce Chase, and I don't know anything about him, but he threw the only touchdown pass and took him on a drive to give them a score. Nathan Rourke did score a touchdown with his legs, but it was a disaster through the air. They weren't getting anything on the ground. They were doing 2-and-outs over and over and over and over, and it was rough. I don't know what was wrong. Definitely their offensive line needs some holes plugged because they gave up 7 sacks, and it seemed like pressure was coming from all sides at all times. But thankfully, BC is going into a bye week this week and don't have to play for a couple weeks. So maybe it's coming at perfect timing, but very rare that you're going to see the third quarterback in a game, and they had to go all the way to the third stringer.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. That doesn't bode well for the team if you got to
No.
go to the third stringer, and then the third stringer plays better than the first and the second. That's never a good look. So hopefully during this bye they can iron out their problems on offense and figure this out.
Yeah. Next game they play Hamilton, BC Place. That's on Friday the 27th. All feline battle, the Tiger Cats against the Lions there. The Lions were missing one of their top receivers, Alexander Hollins, who's hurt. Hopefully he'll be able to come back in time for this game coming up. So, okay. Let's talk about the NFL. There was interesting with a couple of weeks down. There were 6 games going into Sunday between teams that started the season 0-1, the most in NFL history. So the crazy thing is if you finish or if you start a season 0-2, you usually do not finish in the playoffs. It's about a 10-11% chance of making the playoffs starting 0-2, which is pretty bizarre when you got a 16-17 game now schedule, but that's the way it is. Actually, over the last 5 seasons, only 5% of teams have been able to make the playoffs after starting 0-2. Out of 41 teams that have, only 2 have made the playoffs. The Texans last year with CJ Stroud, and the Bengals in 2022 with Joe Burrow. So 5% of teams 0-2 to make the playoffs. So starting 1-1, about 45% of those teams have made the postseason. And teams that get off to a 2-0 start, almost 80% of those teams make the playoffs. So it's crucial right away to get off to a good start. Can you believe those numbers?
No, I find them a little bit surprising, especially the 0-2 numbers. Like
Yeah.
pretty much you go 0-2, kiss the playoffs goodbye. You're
Yeah.
not going to be able to make it.
Shocking. Yeah. So there are 9 2-0 teams. There are 12 1-1 teams. There were 9 0-2 teams. And then the game tonight featured the Eagles and the Falcons. Eagles come in 1-0, Falcons 0-1 coming in tonight. Tons of upsets on Sunday. It just blew survivor pools. It just killed people's pools, brackets, all different types of things. It was a really wild and crazy weekend. I can't wait to break down tons of it. After 2 weeks, no rookie quarterback has thrown a touchdown yet, which is pretty bizarre. Out of all the rookies that have started under center, still a lot of growing pains. And the other thing is, this is the first time in NFL history that after 2 weeks there was more field goals kicked than touchdowns scored. And so that's not good. We don't want to see kickers being the heroes, winning all these games. We would rather see a ton of really exciting touchdowns instead of the kickers coming out and kicking 4, 5, 6, even 7 field goals. It's been crazy.
It has been crazy, but what I have noticed is that the kickers have been really good this year so
Yeah.
far to start off. Like
Oh,
really good. Like
big
they're
time.
hitting 50+ yard field goals and just banging them through like they're nothing. And I'm just like, this is kind of odd. So I'm gonna give them their flowers. Kickers are doing great this year.
They are.
So, good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay, okay. I'm sure they're happy to hear you're giving them their flowers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, as I mentioned, Monday nighter, Philadelphia was hosting Atlanta. Eagles were dealt a bit of a blow, though. AJ Brown was ruled out. Will probably miss this weekend and possibly next. That was a blow that they were not wanting to hear and expecting, but Devontae Smith, in his absence, was able to get a touchdown in the first quarter. Currently, right now, Philadelphia is winning 18-15. It's been a bit of a field goal battle back and forth. Atlanta did take a lead 15-10 when Darnell Mooney caught a 41-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins. They missed the convert. And then recently, Jalen Hurts has scored a 1-yard touchdown run with Saquon Barkley getting a 2-pointer to give them a 3-point lead heading down. It's only like a couple minutes left in this game. So, yeah, interesting, pretty tight game. I wasn't expecting that. I thought Philly might blow them out tonight.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of thought it too. I shouldn't think that. Those been my Falcons, but they've been disappointing me as of late. So the fact that they're even in the game, what a bonus.
Yeah.
What a hey, team's doing great. I don't think they're gonna win, but hey, at least they're in the game.
All Kirk Cousins has to do right now is march him down the field, kick a game time field goal or get a touchdown and win. So we'll see how it shakes out. Young Wei Koo has hit 3 field goals for them, and yeah, kept them tight in this game. So yeah, we'll give you an update before we finish. Falcons host the Chiefs on the Sunday nighter next week, and the Eagles go to New Orleans to play the Saints, the juggernaut New Orleans Saints. So that should be a heck of a game. Looking forward to that. Sticking in the NFC East, let's talk about an NFC East battle between the Commanders and the Giants. This was a crazy game because this was the first time a team in NFL history has scored 3 touchdowns and not allowed the opposing team to score a touchdown and lost the game. Super bizarre. What really caused the Giants to lose this game was Graham Gano hurt his hamstring on the opening kickoff, and they didn't have a backup kicker on the roster. So they couldn't kick extra points, they couldn't kick field goals, and it really was the main reason why they ended up losing this game. The Commanders kicker, Austin Siebert, scored all 21 points, hitting 7 field goals to win this game. And most of them were pretty short field goals. The longest was 45, but he hit 2 from 27, 1 from 26, 1 from 29, a 30, and a 33 yarder. So they were marching the ball down the field. They just couldn't punch it in. He was kicking the short field goals. And amazingly enough, Washington wins 21-18 over the Giants.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I think the Giants have learned. You need a kicker to win games.
Yeah.
Like, you need a functional kicker. The fact that they actually don't even they didn't have anybody. It's like, oh no, do we have anybody else that can kick? I don't think we do. Like, what do you mean you don't have anybody else that can kick? That's, to me, that's crazy. Like, that is utterly crazy. So
Yeah.
maybe they fix that, or maybe they just go, they'll kick him for the rest of the season. We're good. We're just gonna go for it, right? Like that's just crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
to me. I find great though that Daniel Jones, he actually passed for 2 touchdowns, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he took my advice, Darren. He took my advice. Pass it to Neighbors. Would you look at that? He did.
Yeah.
10 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Unfortunately, you still need a kicker to win. So they lost, but they got closer than I thought they would have. That's for sure. And then the Commanders with an actual functional kicker. Guess what? We don't need to score touchdowns. We just need to kick field goals, and we can still beat you.
Yeah. It's insane. It's a massive mistake. That's a massive mistake because the Giants really might have just blown their season up. But they could have won this game. They should have won this game. They just needed to elevate their backup kicker from the Paxos roster. And they're like, no, we need actually a special teams guy, or we need to back up somebody else. And so, no. And the weird thing was, Gano was actually injured coming in. He had a groin injury, and it ended up being a hammy that he pulled. And the weird thing was that he kicked it, and he kicked it to about the 2-yard line. Austin Eckler grabbed it and started weaving in and out of the Giants coverage team, and he took it 98 yards for a touchdown. And Gano ended up saying that at one point my legs were moving faster than they've ever moved in my life, and all of a sudden I realized that my body wasn't in sync, and then whoop, I felt my hamstring go. And he goes, damn. And the brutal thing was, there was a flag on the play. They called it all the way back. And so he didn't even have to chase it down, and he got hurt on it, so he couldn't play anymore. They brought in their punter after they scored the first touchdown. They brought in their punter, and he tried to get the extra point, and he shanked it wide right away. And so for the rest of the game, they just went for 2-pointers after touchdowns, and they went for it on 4th down that didn't they couldn't be thinking that anybody was going to get a field goal. So it was a disastrous move on their part, and I don't think they're going to make that mistake again.
Yeah, I'm hoping they learn from this, because like you said, this was their chance. This maybe one of their few chances this season to win a game, and you still blew it.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Unreal. Brutal. Nobody did terrific in this game. Everybody was okay. Jaden Daniels, you mentioned it last week, which I really thought was very, very smart of you. His numbers are just okay, but he's not making any mistakes. And to me, he's so far been the best rookie quarterback of the bunch. Coming out of the gate, they have 1 win, 1 loss, but no mistakes. He had great numbers, 23 of 29, 236 yards. And but yeah, just none of those mistakes that we're seeing too many QBs making around the NFL.
Exactly. Like he's not turning over the ball.
Yeah.
And because he didn't turn over the ball, he actually gave his team a chance to win. Yeah, they didn't score any touchdowns, but they didn't. And yeah, just him not turning over the ball is keeping his team in these games to win these close games.
Yeah. I'd be handing the ball tons to Brian Robinson. He has 17 carries for 133 yards, almost an 8 yards per carry average. The guy is pretty elite. They do have Eckler, as I mentioned earlier. They got Zach Ertz. They got Noah Brown. They got a lot of weapons, and I think this is going to be a pretty decent season for Washington compared to what we normally see. So the Giants go to Cleveland, play the Browns on Sunday. The Commanders play Cincinnati. That's 1 week from tonight. The Monday Nighter. There's actually two Monday Nighters next week. One starts 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. The other starts at 5:15 Pacific and 8:15 Eastern. So I'm not really sure why they're doing that already. I've noticed that last year a couple times, but weird that we get two Monday Nighters almost simultaneously.
Yeah, it seems a little quicker than last year. They're starting this off already. So, well, but at least you get two games on Monday night. So, yay!
I've got great news for Falcons fans. Drake London just caught a 7-yard TD pass from Kirk Cousins with 34 seconds left to play. Young Koo ended up getting the extra point, and they are ahead 22-21 with 34 seconds left on the clock.
Wait, did you just say that we did it? Like we actually got the ball downfield. Kirk Cousins didn't let me down, and they scored.
Amazing.
Go ahead. The Falcons actually scored to go ahead. I couldn't be happier. Like I'm teared up a little bit. It's amazing.
I know. Holy cow. Kirk Cousins is living up after that Achilles injury.
Oh.
No, I wasn't sure he'd be the guy. First week, he looked like he was not mobile at all, and it might be a rough year, but they put up almost 400 yards of total offense, 233 passing yards, and 154 rushing yards. And with 26 seconds left on the clock, they are ahead 22-21. So we'll see if Jalen Hurts can march him down, but yeah, it's looking pretty good for Atlanta right now.
God, I hope that Atlanta pulls it off.
Yeah.
I like Jalen. I like you, Jalen, but just 3-0. Just do your 3-0. Give the Falcons a win, and you guys can go on and just be great, but not today.
I'm quite surprised looking at this. Saquon Barkley has been definitely not as impactful as he was week 1 with scoring 3 touchdowns. He has almost 100 yards, but 22 carries to get him there. Bijan Robinson, 14 carries for 97 yards. So, yeah, Saquon was held in check by Atlanta's defense a bit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Atlanta's run defense has been very effective in this game.
Okay, sticking with the NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys absolutely got their butts kicked on Sunday. The Saints are suddenly a juggernaut in this league, scoring 91 points in the first 2 weeks. They've actually scored on their first 16 offensive drives of the season. They came in and just put an absolute beating on the Cowboys. I haven't seen the Cowboys defense been decimated this bad, maybe other than that Green Bay Packers playoff game in a long, long time. Dallas had come in winning 16 straight home games at AT&T Stadium as well. And 97% of the experts around North America picked Dallas to win this game. And it was evident very early on that the Saints were going to win this. Alvin Kamara proving that running backs are still relevant, still necessary and still can help you win some big games with 4 touchdowns on Sunday. Derek Carr wasn't needed tons, but man, this team is looking spectacular coming out of the gate.
When the Saints come marching in, and
Right.
my goodness, did they march in? They marched all over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Destroyed them. Alvin Kamara was just like, oh, this is too easy. 20 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns, no reception, 65 yards, another touchdown.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't stop him. They looked at him and they said, it's too tough. We can't catch him. We can't do anything. We can't even tackle him.
No.
Just let him score. Like it was. I was amazed. I was super impressed. I was amazed. Shaheed had another touchdown, 4 receptions for 96 yards, and Carr just a simple 11 of 16, 243 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's all he had to do. He only had to throw the ball 16 times. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Not needed, but that's pretty impressive to have 11 catches for 243 yards. That shows that they have a really fantastic, very high octane offense. And Kamara, 22 touches, couple touchdowns, and 180 yards altogether. The only downside from the whole game was Taysom Hill got hurt. He has a chest injury, and it sounds like it's pretty serious. So I hope it's not going to be too long that he's out, but that Swiss Army knife has been such a valuable piece for them, and he'll be sorely missed for sure.
Yeah, he will be sorely missed. He's, like you said, a Swiss Army knife, and they use him in a lot of different ways. So hopefully he's not too badly injured.
New Orleans got picks from Paulson Adebo and Tyrann Mathieu, their safety and cornerback there. Dak had almost 300 yards passing, but those 2 picks were very, very crucial. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game, but Micah Parsons, one of the lowest stat games I've seen from the guy, played the entire game, only had 2 tackles and 1 assist. Kind of bizarre that they were able to hold him in check, and we'll see. As I mentioned before, the Saints host the Eagles. That's on the early window Sunday. The Cowboys host the 0-2 Ravens, really wanting to get off to Schneid, and that's in the later window, 1:25 Pacific time on Sunday. I do look forward to the Cowboys-Ravens game.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game because the Ravens need to win that game. Period.
Yeah.
They need to win that game.
Very crucial, yeah. Okay, NFC West. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks, the only 2-0 team in the division. The Cards and the Niners are both 1-1, and the Rams are 0-2. Seahawks pull off the 23-20 overtime victory, and they got an amazing game from Geno Smith. Absolutely was just firing at will. 33 of 44 for 327 yards and a touchdown. His 2 favorite targets were DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith Ngijba. 22 catches between the two, 250 yards. The DK Metcalf 56-yard touchdown catch was incredible. And this high-octane offense looked fantastic. I'm surprised they only put up 23 points. But, man, did Geno and those receivers look great.
They look fantastic. They look great. And they, even though the game did go to overtime, Seahawks just marched down the field, got the field goal, got the win. I was super impressed. I was super impressed with the team completely. But I got to say, the Patriots are playing teams tough.
Yeah.
A lot tougher than I thought they would be able to do this season so far. Like you got Jacoby Brissett. Like Jacoby who are you again? And anyways, so he only had 149 yards and a touchdown. But it was their running attack for the Patriots that was impressive.
Yeah.
Gibson with 11 carries for 96 yards. And Stevenson, 21 carries, 81 yards and a touchdown. Like I just didn't see the Patriots being able to run as effectively as they have thus far this season. But all credit to Geno Smith. Geno Smith was the reason why the Seahawks won this game.
Yeah, for sure. Patriots were dealt a bit of a blow on defense. Jawan Bentley, their linebacker, got a season-ending torn pec muscle on Sunday. He has had 3 straight 100 tackle seasons. He will be hard to replace and will be sorely missed. But yeah, Seattle coming out 2-0, leading the division. Not a lot of people predicted that early on. And as you said, Patriots 1-1 and really tough in their first 2 games. So yeah, good on both teams. Seahawks play host to the Miami Dolphins Sunday, the later window, and the Patriots play their division rival, the Jets, in the Big Apple, and that's the Thursday. That's the Thursday game. So that should be fun. It's always good battle between those division rivals. So, okay, the NFC West, as I mentioned, the Cardinals start the year 1-1. Rams are 0-2 after the Cardinals put an absolute beating on them, 41-10. A massive blowout, just surprising. I didn't think anybody had this picked, but after a tough first week, Marvin Harrison really finally broke out. They got him the ball. He had an absolutely phenomenal first quarter. He scored 2 touchdowns early on, scored a 23-yard touchdown catch just 4 minutes in, and then just a couple minutes later got a 60-yard catch and run touchdown. In the first quarter, he had 4 catches for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you thought, whoa, what kind of day is he going to have? They doubled and triple teamed him for the rest of the game. Didn't allow him to do anything else, but it was too late already. They had the points they needed. They were winning this game, and they did it, just blew them out of the water.
Kyler Murray has been super impressive so far this season. It's like he's resurrected himself. He's been absolutely incredible. 17 to 21, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 carries, 59 yards, no turnovers, no picks.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important thing. And then you had his running back in the backfield, Connor, 21 carries, 122 yards, and 1 touchdown. I don't know what's going on in Cardinal land, but it's all of a sudden the team is, good. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I did not project them to be this good.
No.
Right out the gate.
No.
Did not see this coming.
I don't think most people did as well. So yeah, incredible. They've been really able to put this together. And yeah, Kyler. There was a play a couple of seasons ago where Kyler faded back and then he had to run and then he had to run around. And it seemed like he ran like 150 yards before he finally launched it down and got a touchdown. He had another play like this on Sunday, and it looked like he was dead to rights, and then he scooted back in. Uh-oh, 2 more guys almost got him, and he faded back and he threw a nice bomb. And yeah, when he can get out in space, he is spectacular, almost impossible to bring down. And now he has this weapon in Marvin Harrison, some of the other guys, the great running game with Connor. I don't know why Pittsburgh would have ever given up on James Conner, but man, this team could be really fun to watch all year and could really surprise a ton of people and be a playoff team.
Like, yeah, definitely could be a playoff team. Just as long as Kyler stays healthy.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want. I just want him to stay healthy, because seeing this is it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
One of the other guys in the backfield too, Emeril Mercado, he had 2 carries for 46 yards. So yeah, it's a good 1-2 punch there. Kyron Williams was held in check for LA. Stafford didn't have that terrific of a game, but he's missing Puka Nacua and also now Cooper Kupp, who injured his ankle. Those are going to be massive losses for LA. And Puka's out for at least 4 games. Let's hope Cooper can make it back very soon, because he's really fun to watch, and he'll be very necessary for the Rams to pull out of this 0-2 hole and have a decent season.
Yeah. Stafford needs his weapons, and the fact that Cup and Puka are on the shelf right now, not looking good for the team.
No. The Rams host the division rival 49ers on Sunday, late window, and the Cards host the Lions same time there. Okay, let's go to the 49ers, who surprisingly lost to the Vikings 23-17. Sam Darnold, a guy that just was horrible in New York. He wasn't very much better in Carolina. Went to San Francisco last year, and he was Brock Purdy's backup. And I think he learned a lot that he probably passed on to this team, to his team going into this game. He said it resurrected his career, actually, learning behind Brock Purdy and the way the 49ers offense ran. He was able to shock the world and get this Vikings to 2-0 and beat the Niners. And it wasn't as close as this 23-17 score. I think the Vikings just really dominated this game. It was pretty incredible.
It was incredible. It's incredible that Darnold, not starting, but being a backup, resurrected his career. And I think you can directly attribute that to Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Because Kyle Shanahan was the key to unlocking Darnold, who everybody thought, bum, useless. Like, you can't be a starter anymore, not in this league. Actually, he can.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's what he always needed, was a head coach of that caliber to unlock him, and then for him to say, okay, you're good now. Now go succeed. Go succeed.
Yeah.
And now he is. Like it kind of helps though if you have one of the best receivers in the league to pass to, which is Justin Jefferson, who had 4 receptions, 433 yards and a touchdown. Like, I'm just impressed. Yeah. I can't believe Darnold looks this good. I can't believe it.
Really sad to see Jefferson leave the game. Had some kind of quad contusion. Don't know much details on severity, but obviously that is his biggest weapon. And without Jefferson, they're going to be in a bit of trouble there. That 97-yard pass by Darnold was the best pass I've seen him throw as a pro, and an amazing catch by Jefferson. And then he runs to the left, decides, I can't make the corner, then runs all the way to the right side, with his running mate Jalen Naylor actually coming in and providing that last block so he could get in. Was very cool, and one of the highlight touchdowns of the year so far.
Yeah, one of the highlight touchdowns of the year so far. And Naylor actually had himself a pretty good game too, with 3 receptions, 54 yards, and a touchdown himself. So Vikings, everybody was worried. It's like, oh no, Cousins is gone, and Darnold?
Yeah.
I know, man. It looks like they're in good hands. They're looking good.
Well, you and I talked about this team a little bit in the preseason, and I said JJ McCarthy, not sure if he's going to start or not, but Sam Darnold's his backup, so he better. And then all of a sudden McCarthy gets hurt, and you think, Viking season is done.
Over.
And he's been able to just come in and play incredibly well and help this team to a great start. I'm super blown away. Pretty surprised that the Niners are 1-1. Purdy had a great game with 319 yards passing and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel had a good game, over 100 yards. Kittle had a touchdown. Mason also had another good game in the absence of Christian McCaffrey with 100 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, bad news about Deebo Samuel. He has a severe calf strain and will miss at least a couple weeks. So they're going to have to come together, gather around, and get some of those weapons back healthy. The other thing that stood out for me for the Niners is Fred Warner. He had another fantastic game with 7 tackles, had a pick, and he punched out 2 more balls, forcing fumbles. The guy is just a master at doing that, coming in just before he tackles, punching the ball loose, forced 3 fumbles already in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. Giving his team chances to score and giving them chances to win the game by creating these turnovers. Yeah. But unfortunately was not enough, which is weird for me to say that since he did so much, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Yeah. 49ers head to the Rams Sunday, so 49ers will try to beat up on the Rams, make them go to 0-3. That's in the late window Sunday. Vikes host CJ Stroud and the Texans early Sunday there. So, okay, let's turn to the NFC North. We've got the Bucks sitting at 2-0. Leading the division, Lions, Bears, and Packers all sitting at 1-1. Tampa Bay used really great defense and another solid game for In Baker We Trust, and they were able to beat Detroit 20-16. Detroit made a lot of costly mistakes. Yes. They were only 1 for 7 in the red zone. Made a huge mistake at the half where they should have been able to at least got 3 points on the board. And some of the stuff we see Dan Campbell do, very cool and great, but he does make a lot of costly mistakes with clock management, making some boneheaded plays, and it really bit them in this game. Gave the Bucks the victory that the Lions really could have had.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The Lions did have a chance to win this game at many different points in the game, yeah, but they just couldn't convert. They couldn't convert to touchdowns. But Mayfield, wow, like he is balling out, man. Like he looks fantastic. He looks rejuvenated. Yeah. 12 of 19, 185 yards and a touchdown. His favorite target so far seems like it's Chris Godwin. Yeah. And 7 receptions, 117 yards and a touchdown for him. But the thing that I loved was when they needed to score, Baker had that one scramble where he scored the touchdown. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, he's just like, I'm just going to do it myself. Don't need anybody. Like, yeah, he's a gamer, man. Like, that's the one thing that has resonated with his teammates. They all know it's like he wants it more than anybody. Yeah. And yeah, Mike Evans has even gone on to say that he's the ultimate teammate. He loves him as a teammate. So,
yeah, that's where a lot of these young quarterbacks that get drafted high and fail, they can look at Baker as their shining star, as a guy that I can emulate, I can try to be like, and I can resurrect my career. He was with 4 teams in 3 years, bounced around a lot, and really didn't look like he was going to have much of a career. Has just completely resurrected it in Tampa. Had a great year last year. Signs this big deal, and you think, okay, is he still going to be hungry? And yeah, he's come out of this gate playing really well. Scored that game-winning touchdown. You said on that scramble, only 34 seconds left, and won the game. Obviously, Godwin was who they targeted early on. Actually, Baker's first 7 completions were to Godwin, all 7, 7 for 117 yards. And then all of a sudden, Detroit says, uh-oh, Godwin, let's double and triple team that guy. He never got another catch for the rest of the game, but it was already a little too late, and they had already amassed this victory. So good on them. I'm impressed, and I'm happy. I'm happy to see a guy who really was thrown on a scrap heap, given up by many teams, and finally found that right fit, and has just been able to change his life, change his career, and and is somebody that other teammates just really are happy and looking forward to playing with him for years to come.
Yeah, and the fact we gotta mention this. He's following after the greatest quarterback we've ever seen.
Yeah,
That's all he had to do.
that's right.
Oh, Tom Brady, you're retiring? Great. Now it's my turn.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's big
Yeah.
shoes to fill. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Big-
Holy cow. Yeah, the Bucks also picked off Jared Goff a couple times. That was very, very key. Goff had a pretty decent game, obviously, with over 300 yards passing, but didn't throw any touchdowns and 2 picks. That's going to be hard to overcome. Amon-Ra St. Brown looked great. Jameson Williams had another good game. They also got great games on the ground from David Montgomery, who got a touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs. Aiden Hutchinson. Holy cow, was this guy a beast? They gave him 5 sacks, took half of them away for some reason, but 4.5 sacks. One of the best games we've seen from a pass rusher for a long, long, long time. That was a spectacular performance from an absolute beast that nobody seems to be able to shut down and stop.
Yeah, he was extremely disruptive, and to the point where it's like, don't waste the chances I'm giving you. Like, I'm doing my best here, you know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Lions couldn't get him the win that he deserved, because he was an absolute monster in that game.
It was amazing. Yeah. The Bucks host the 0-2 Broncos Sunday early window. The Lions go to the Cards, as I mentioned earlier, Sunday later window. The Sunday nighter last night, pretty yawner game, not great. I definitely flew through it. Just another field goal fest. Kamai Fairburn had 4 field goals, really long ones. His shortest one was 47. He also hit from 53, 56, and 59. Was able to outkick the Bears' Cairo Santos, who only had a couple field goals, both 50-yarders, 53 and 54. CJ Stroud outdueled Caleb Williams, threw for more than 100 more yards, and found Nico Collins, his favorite target, for the lone TD there. CJ looks great still. Second year, you weren't sure if he was going to regress at all, but Nico's there. Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon looking good. And their defense also had 7 sacks on Caleb Williams, 2 picks, and really had Caleb in all sorts of trouble. A lot of blames put on Caleb, but that offensive line is not looking good for the Bears.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Like, he was kind of running for his life, like, all the time. Like, it sucks if you're a rookie quarterback and you don't have any time to, like, sit and scan the field, where you're just like, oh, gotta run. They're pouring through again. Oh my goodness. Like, yeah, I felt bad for Caleb, because he's not really been given the time to scan the football field. Like, he's got to be on his bike, and he's got to run.
Yeah.
So
it's tough.
But it was still impressive because they kept the game close. They gave themselves a chance to win, but Stroud didn't make any mistakes, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Chicago goes to Indy to play the Colts Sunday early window. Texans go to Minnie to play the Vikings, also in that early window on Sunday. Okay. AFC South. We're talking about the Packers' victory over the Colts, and nobody had this. Malik Willis comes in, replaced Jordan Love, and Anthony Richardson had a fantastic game last week, and all of a sudden laid an egg. He was terrible. 3 picks were definitely the difference. I have no idea why the game plans were so bizarrely changed, or were so bizarrely different here. Matt LaFleur had a beautiful game plan. Just give Josh Jacobs the rock. Just give him the rock, and he's going to be able to grind the yards. We're going to have lots of ball control, time of possession, And for some reason, Shane Steichen didn't do the same with Jonathan Taylor, who had a fantastic game, but he only had 12 carries. Imagine if Taylor had 32 carries as well. I think the Colts win this game. So I think LaFleur out coached Shane Steichen and got the Packers the win with Malik Willis, who nobody thought would be able to lead this team to a win.
Yeah, I was just like, oh right, Jordan Love's injured. Who is that? Like, I didn't know who that was. I literally didn't know. I was like,
Yeah.
I have no idea who he is. But man can run. Like
Yeah.
he's very good at using his feet. So
Got some wheels.
I was again like you, the head coach for the Colts. You have a rookie quarterback. Help him out.
Yeah.
Give it to that, your all pro running back there and just keep giving him the rock. Do exactly what the Packers are doing.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But he's just like, you know what? God, throw it 34 times. You can do that, right? You're good. You're good. No, he's not good. 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
He's not good at all, man.
No.
Like give your head a shake. Try to help out your young rookie. Well, not a rookie, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He has
basically a rookie.
In a rookie.
Yeah,
He's
basically. Yeah, he only played a couple games last
So
year.
I'm going to say your young rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Help him out. All right. And he didn't do that. So maybe he's going to learn his lesson from that. But I doubt it. I don't think he's smart enough.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, Malik Willis gets the victory, amazingly enough. And yeah, Packers get the win. 1-1. Colts fall to 0-2. Colts host the Bears on Sunday. Packers go to the Titans. Packers actually had 261 rushing yards and 164 in the first quarter. That was the most by any team since 2011. So great game plan, Matt LaFleur. Really pulled out that win for sure. Okay, we're in the NFC South here with the Panthers, but the Chargers come in from the AFC West, and the Chargers absolutely spanked the Panthers. In fact, they beat them so bad that the coach and management of the Panthers just decided that Bryce Young will no longer be their starting quarterback. Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, will be in the Red Rifle. The Red Rifle will be in this coming Sunday, and Bryce Young might be finished in Carolina after absolutely horrific career so far. 2-17, I believe he is in his NFL career, and this experiment seems to be done after selling the farm, doing everything they could to get him. They've already given up on him after 2 games.
Yeah, it's sad, right? Because they're so bad. They're horrible. It's a horrible team.
They are,
and
bad.
It's not like he doesn't know. Like he probably prays every night. Says, "Oh dear God, please help me.
Yeah,
do something. Please help me." And God is just like, "Oh man, there's nothing I can do for you, buddy.
There's nothing I'm doing to help you out.
Nothing I can do for you." So, and Jim Harbaugh must be just like, sweet, week 2, Panthers. That's a win. Like, look at Herbert's numbers: 14 of 20, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 intercept. Like, and it was an easy win, by the way.
Yeah,
that's his stats. It was just like, oh, smashed them, destroyed them.
Insane. Yeah, they just beat them up and destroyed them. J.K. Dobbins, coming back from a serious Achilles injury, had a fantastic game, almost 8 yards per carry, 131 yards on the ground, 43-yard touchdown run. The thing that sort of scared me, though, was just as he was approaching the end zone, he did a flip, and I'm like, your Achilles, don't do stuff like that. And they asked Harbaugh about that after the game, and I thought he was going to say, "Yeah, I'm telling JK, don't do that," and he kept saying, "Yeah, I'm impressed when guys can do that. I tried to do that and I never was able to. I see guys doing that all the time and I tried and I, for some reason, fell flat every single time." And he talked about it for probably 5 minutes about it. It was hilarious, but yeah, he didn't give JK any shit for that celebration to dive into the end zone.
No, he didn't, and I thought that was actually pretty smart of him. You know
Yeah.
what? Because he's probably like, no, I've seen the work that he's put in to get himself back on the field. It's cool. He's fine.
Yeah. Oh, he
Yeah.
said it was just, you can't believe the work that he's put in. It's unbelievable and impressive. Great to see Quentin Johnson finally getting a lot of targets. He scored the first 2 touchdowns of the game, one 29-yarder, one 5-yard touchdown catch, and really was one of the biggest reasons why they won this game so handily. Cameron Dicker finished off, scored the last 2 field goals, and yeah, it's terrible in Carolina. I don't know if Dalton's going to be able to do much with this team, but crazy to hear that Young is already gone. This is what the Panthers traded for Young, March the 10th of 2023, so not very long ago. They traded DJ Moore, 2023 first round pick that turned out to be offensive tackle Darnell Wright, 2023 second round pick, which turned out to be cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, 2024 number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams, 2024 fourth round pick, which turned out to be Torrey Taylor, and 2025 second round pick. So imagine all those guys currently on the Panthers roster, and they could have got CJ Stroud instead, and they have really made a huge mistake here. And I don't know if Bryce Young actually ever throws another pass for this organization. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, he might not. Here's the thing about this game. What I actually have written down in my notes, it's just the Chargers. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to write down the Panthers. I'm like, oh man, there's nothing to write. So I think you're right. I think he might be like literally done. Like I don't think
already
he takes another snap unless Andy Dalton gets hurt.
Yeah.
Which probably could. I don't want to jinx him. No, Andy's gonna be fine. But I think I don't think he takes another snap this year. No. I think he's done.
He completed 18 passes for 84 yards. That's just shocking. Like unbelievable. Holy cow. That's almost like throwing it backwards. So insane.
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah. Panthers head to Vegas to play the Raiders Sunday late window. Chargers head to Pittsburgh for Sunday, the early window. Okay, let's turn to the AFC East, and let's go all the way back to Thursday night. The Bills and the Dolphins played. The Bills lead the division at 2-0. Patriots and Jets and Dolphins all sit at 1-1. The Bills easily won this game, 31-10. Bills seem to always beat Miami. They seem to be the Dolphins' kryptonite. They've won 12 of the last 13 meetings, and they were just really dominant in this game. The Bills' defense was really, really big, picking off Tua 3 times before concussing him and knocking him out of the game, and maybe possibly knocking him out of the NFL altogether. A lot of people have weighed in what Tua should do. We'll see what comes down in the next little while. If he clears concussion protocols and he moves forward. But I just hope that they wake up every single morning and just yell at him, slide feet first, slide feet first. I think he should write that on his mirror. I think that he should write that on his windshield of his car. Everywhere he goes, do not go on head first into a tackle ever again, and have a great career. Just Do not take head hits. No more headshots. That was crazy how it was Damar Hamlin who ended up hitting him with his chest into his
Yes.
head and took him out of the game. Damar Hamlin was the top tackler in the game, and great that Damar didn't get hurt. Really sad that Tua got hurt, but he's got to learn how to keep himself in the game and in the league as a whole.
Because he was the one that delivered the blow.
Yeah.
He was the one that leaned in to deliver the blow. And then when it, like, I'm watching it and I'm like, that wasn't really a violent tackle.
True.
That's the problem.
True.
Like, it wasn't a violent hit as far as I'm concerned whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then when he did that weird, the claw flensing thing, then I'm like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That means he's definitely going to be out for at least, I would say, 3 games, maybe even 4. Like, he's not coming back anytime soon. That's number 1. Number 2 now, like what all the pundits are saying and stuff is like, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's it. Like, that's it. I know he just signed a contract, but you can't spend your money if you can't remember that you had money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. So he's really got to take a hard look in the mirror at his health, at where he's at, because, again, not a violent hit. He lowered the boom. He was the one trying to go through Damar's chest, and then he's the one that suffered a massive, massive concussion. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not looking good.
I was pretty shocked that the Dolphins signed him to this deal. He played every game last season, but with his concussion history, and you thought, he gets another one, this could be it. They gave him way too much guaranteed money. Signed him to a 4-year deal. I thought it was pretty shocking that they did. It's going to be hard for him to walk away with this from the kind of money that he could still make on the rest of this contract. And obviously the Dolphins want him to be there because this team can be dynamic with him under center. Skylar Thompson, I don't see the same kind of Dolphins team. So we'll see how it shakes out. But he just has to have it in his head every single solitary play. Do not take hits, slide when you're running, and try to prolong your health and your career.
Yeah, absolutely. He should have slid feet first. He did not do that, and now he is paying the ultimate price. So I would love to be able to see him come back on the field, but I think that Mike McDaniels has to have like a real heart-to-heart talk with his quarterback and be like, well, I want you, but more importantly than anything else, I want you as a person to have a good life, a healthy life, the brain intact. So,
Josh Allen didn't have that fantastic of a game, but James Cook, to me, was the MVP of this game, scoring 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air, and really helping. Also, I mentioned Damar Hamlin, leading tackler with this team, 7 tackles and 2 assists, and it's incredible. He was the backup when he had that cardiac arrest and was out of the NFL for a little while. Came back, didn't really play that much last year, and because they've lost a lot of their top guys, he suddenly thrust in, and he's taken the bull by the horns, and the leading tackler, looking fantastic out there, and really looking like he could have a really great career after suffering such a massive, massive health scare in his life.
Yeah. Like it's weird how we just see that difference between where the one guy was and where one guy is now, right? And but I'm very happy for Damar and his success, and I hope he has continued success throughout the course of this season. Great to see.
So I guess Miami has signed Tyler Huntley off the Ravens practice squad to be the backup quarterback coming into this week. Skylar Thompson will start, it looks like. Devon HN had another fantastic game with about 160 something yards with another touchdown. Tyreek was held in check in this game. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Dolphins now without Tua for the foreseeable future. They go to Seattle to play the Seahawks Sunday late window. The Bills host the Jags on Monday, and that's the early Monday game, the 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern time start. Okay, AFC East continues. We'll talk about the Jets' victory over the Titans. Aaron Rodgers finally gets his first win, starting and finishing a game, coming back from that Achilles injury. We talked so much about that Achilles injury. Unfortunately, his teammate linebacker Jermaine Johnson suffered a ruptured Achilles injury also on Sunday and will miss the entire season. This was a non-contact injury. He was rushing the quarterback. The quarterback ran off and he tried to turn and all of a sudden, felt something, clutched his leg, and they diagnosed it with a ruptured Achilles. This team is hampered as well with no Hassan Reddick, who's still holding out. He's lost $8 million in salary and fines already. Will probably never recoup this, and I hope they can come together with an agreement. They need him badly here, and he would be very, very key to helping this team having a great year going forward.
Yeah, they just have to pay him money. Because now he's going to stay out on principle.
Yeah.
Like that's like if they don't give him a contract that he wants, but at least a good thing, like for him, he's been upfront the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm looking for a contract. This is what I want. This is what I expect. If you don't give it to me, I'm not going to be there. And so I think that they should try to resolve this because they clearly need him.
Yeah.
They need his help.
Yeah.
They need him on defense. So hopefully they figure this out. But anyways, though, Rodgers looked good enough. 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Breece Hall was great. 14 carries, 62 yards, and 7 receptions, 52 yards in the touchdown. But yeah, man, I hope that they get the Hassan Reddick thing figured out because they really need that guy. They need him to win games.
Yeah. The other guy that stood out for the Jets was Braylon Allen. He had a couple touchdowns, one 12-yard catch and one 20-yard run. Will Levis, this guy needs to get benched as well. They have to find somebody else. He looks just absolutely terrible. He threw the worst pick I've seen in one of the worst picks I've seen in my life last week. This week, the really weird underhand kind of fumble, strange thing that he threw was even probably worse than what he did last week. His coach lit him up, and I'd be surprised if they're not already shaking the trees and bushes and trying to get somebody else in there. I think he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL and needs a reset. He looks just terrible out there, and this team is sinking fast. And they've got to get somebody else in there, I think.
I think so too. He just doesn't look competent. He doesn't look competent at all. Like he just I just no, man.
Their backup is Mason Rudolph, who I thought played pretty decent with Pittsburgh, and I think I'd be putting him in there. I think it would be the second quarterback we see get benched after 2 games, and give Rudolph a shot because Levis doesn't look like he's gonna figure it out the way he's playing. He looks panicked and just tossing the ball around like that. You just can't do that as a quarterback.
No, or put him in for one more game and see. Maybe he'll get it now. No, he won't. He won't get it. Yeah. Horrible. So yeah, hopefully they do the right thing, put Rudolph in and see what he can do.
Calvin Ridley and Tony Pollard, both very talented players, both contributed a lot to this game. But Levis just tossed it away again. So Titans host the Packers Sunday early window. The Jets host the Patriots, and that's the Thursday nighter, as I mentioned a bit earlier. Okay, let's talk about the AFC West. We've got two teams at 2-0, the Chargers and the Chiefs. We've got the Raiders at 1-1, and we've got the Broncos sitting at 0-2. The Chiefs and the Bengals played, and this was the fifth game in a row between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, where the game was decided by 3 points or less. The Bengals won the first three. The Chiefs have now won the last two matchups. Chiefs pull it out, very tight 26-25 victory. Mahomes didn't look very good, and they needed help from a lot of areas. They pulled out the win, shockingly enough, with not a really great performance by too many of the Chiefs, but they just seem to have the Bengals number right now.
Yeah, Mahomes did not have a great game. Under 51 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. I think the Chiefs basically won it off that turnover, right? Because who was the defensive end for the Chiefs that caused the fumble of Burrow, and then it was a scoop pickup for the touchdown,
right?
That got them ahead, right?
Yeah.
And the play before, the quarterback for the Bengals made that incredible interception. The one-handed snag on the side, close to the side. That was one of the most impressive interceptions I've ever seen in my freaking life. I was just like, that blew me away. I was like, he caught that?
I know.
Like he caught that?
I know. I wanted to mention it. It's Cameron Taylor-Britt that had that pick, one-handed.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah, it reminded me of like Odell Beckham Jr.'s catch.
Yeah.
Just spectacular one-handed grab like that. And Joe Burrow with that strip sack fumble. That seemed to be the thing that just turned it around and changed the fortunes and gave the Chiefs this win. The Chiefs received some horrible news today. Unfortunately, Isaiah Pacheco fractured his lower leg. He will go on the IR and at least miss 4 games, but I expect probably about half the year. Samaje Perine will replace him, and they're bringing in Kareem Hunt actually for a visit this week to see if they can sign him as well and sort of rebolster that backfield.
Pacheco was having himself a season so far. I love the way that man runs.
Yeah.
Angry and determined. He had 19 carries for 90 yards, 5 receptions, 21 yards. He's going to be sorely missed in that offense.
Yeah.
Really, really. That's going to be he's going to be hard to replace.
Yeah. Rashee Rice had a great game with a touchdown, 5 catches, 75 yards. They really shut down Travis Kelce, only had 1 catch, and Xavier Worthy as well. Really did not have any impact in this game, but Chiefs get the win, go to 2-0. Bengals fall to 0-2, and they are 1-9 in their past 2 opening games the last 5 seasons. Keep coming, starting out bad out of the gate. I did mention that they made the playoffs that 1 year, but you don't want to crawl out of a hole year after year after year. This is really tough on this team, and that loss is going to hurt. The Bengals do host the Commanders Monday. That's the second Monday nighter, and the Chiefs go to Atlanta to play the Hawks, and that's the Sunday nighter. We also had another big upset with the Raiders pulling out a 26-23 victory over the Ravens. The Vegas comeback in the fourth quarter, they were down 23-13 and ended up scoring the next 13 points. Daniel Carlson hit the game-winning 38-yard field goal with just 27 seconds left. Gardner Minshew outdueled Lamar Jackson and got the win. I did not see this coming. Pretty surprising. Ravens are 0-2 and the Raiders are 1-1.
Yeah, man, very surprising. Minshew had himself a game. I love the fact that when Minshew threw that interception, Max Crosby came up to him and talked him up
Yeah,
immediately
that was
and
impressive for
said,
sure. Yeah.
that was real leadership. It's like, oh man, you got this. It's like, don't you worry. And then Minshew's like, you know what? You're right. I do got this because I got this guy. What's that guy's name? Devontae Adams. I'm just gonna throw him the ball a lot. I think that's probably a good idea. So I'm just gonna do that. And then the other guy, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
That dude, amazing. Great, like, that's a great pickup by the Raiders. Great
Very good.
pickup by the Raiders.
Yeah.
Getting that guy in there. Because I think he has the best stats out of any tight end in the league right now
Awesome.
as we speak.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah. Phenomenal. Really good to get a very solid tight end in there like him. Crosby had a fantastic game. He had 5 tackles, a couple sacks. He was pressuring the quarterback the whole time. Robert Spillane was their leading tackler, 8 tackles, 2 assists, and got a pick of Lamar. Derrick Henry, decent game, but something's wrong with Baltimore's front front 5. That offensive line is leaky. Something's wrong. They're gonna have some serious trouble this year if they don't figure it out. Because there's not enough holes for Henry. There's too much pressure on Lamar, and it's just not gonna work.
No, you're absolutely right. Too much pressure, and Jackson has a bevy of offensive talent, but he needs time,
Yeah.
right? And Henry needs holes to run through. Because even with that being said, Henry still had 84 yards and a touchdown. Zay Flowers had 91 yards, 7 receptions, and a touchdown. Andrews did some work, but they still lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders, come on, like that. This should be something this should have been a game that Ravens should have easily won.
Yeah. The Raiders look like they're going to go to 2-0. They host the Panthers on Sunday late window. The Ravens go to Atlanta. No, sorry, to AT&T Field, and they play the Cowboys in the Sunday late game. The Steelers beat the Broncos 13-6. Steelers used their great defensive game to get to 2-0, keep Denver winless. Bo Nix was better, but still threw 2 picks. Justin Fields didn't do a ton, was able to just manage the game. And there was just 1 touchdown in this game, just a 5-yard touchdown pass by Darnell Harrison. And as I mentioned, Bo Nix better, but 2 picks really were the biggest difference, I think, in this game, and gave the Steelers the opportunity to go to 2-0.
Yeah, because Bo Nix turned over the ball and Fields didn't.
Yeah.
Again, the difference. Like sometimes you just got to manage the game, got to manage it the right way, and not give the ball over to the other team. And Fields did that, and was rewarded with the win.
That's it. Yeah. Pittsburgh hosts the Chargers Sunday. Broncos go to the Bucks, both in the early window. Okay, the Cleveland Browns ended up beating the Jags 18-13. Deshaun Watson scored the Browns touchdown on a 1-yard run. Dustin Hopkins took over the scoring from there, getting 3 field goals, and the Browns were able to get a victory over a Jags team that just does not look very good, coming out 0-2 on the season so far.
Yeah, they've been very disappointing. Trevor Lawrence, 14 of 30, 220 yards, no picks, but also no touchdowns.
Yeah.
And you know what? The bigger question for me in this game is, how much longer is Watson going to be even on the team with his legal troubles right now, which is not looking good, by the way. Like really, really not looking good.
No.
Point, that he could lose his contract
Yeah.
over it.
Oh,
So
sure. Definitely.
yeah, so my real question is, how much longer is Watson going to be on the team? And also, too, why did you not keep Joe Flacco around? Still don't understand that.
Yeah.
Still don't get it.
So brutal. That was so dumb. Yeah. AFC South, the Texans are 2-0. The rest of the division is 0-2. It should be a runaway division title for Houston. Tennessee 0-2, Jacksonville 0-2, and the Colts 0-2. Browns host the Giants, the G-Men on Sunday. Jags shuffle off to Buffalo. That's the early Monday game. Okay, that's the NFL story. We just have to dive into the UFC story. We touched on it earlier, but obviously the Sphere took over and was the star of the show that night. But we did have two title fights that happened. This was probably the longest card I ever remember. It finished at like 11:30, which it's normally supposed to finish at 10, because every single solitary fight on the main card went to a decision. Out of even all the prelims, there was only 2 fights that ended before the judges' scorecard. So it was crazy, crazy, crazy long. But the main and the co-main events were almost complete duplicates. We saw the challenger decide to take down the champion as often as they could, hold him down, kind of just lay and pray from there, and grinded out victories there. Smart game plan, not exciting, but a good game plan to get the belt from the champion. Yeah, 2 mirror images. Obviously, we talked about it quite a bit with Merab. Could Sugar Sean O'Malley stop him from taking down? He did maybe early, but the relentlessness of the machine, he was able to get it done and get his hand raised, get the belt wrapped around his waist. And I saw it coming. I thought it was going to be that way. So not a surprise, but Sugar has had a fantastic career already. You thought, he had a good chance to do this, but Merab didn't really give him a chance.
No, you knew what he was going to do, and then Merab executed it beautifully. Yeah. Didn't Thomas said it best? He's a butterfly within a hurricane. and that was great. Sean O'Malley was neutralized because he's like, I can't find him because he keeps moving around and hopping around like a crazy person, and then shoots in like lightning quick to get the takedown. Now, I was impressed with the fact that O'Malley always got back up to his feet, but it didn't matter. So Merab's just going to do it again and again and again and again and again. And the other thing that's super impressive with Merab is, so after 5 rounds of doing that, not tired.
No.
Not like that dude could probably do that for another 5 rounds.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like his conditioning is on it's on the God tier. Like, and if you have that as a weapon, there's a reason why Sean didn't want to throw his shots or was second guessing himself, because he's just like, if I miss, I go down.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah. Well, Merab, with his pressure and his takedown ability, he really neutralized most of what makes Sean O'Malley good. He was able to land some of those kicks later on and actually hurt him to the body. And but he was afraid to throw them because he thought they would get caught and he would get taken down with them. So, I think his game plan was a bit flawed. I think he should have still employed those kicks. I think he could have taken him out with them. I think he, needed to throw a lot of uppercuts and a lot of kicks and try to neutralize that. But he was too afraid to wasn't able to pull the trigger. And Merab's the champion, and it'll be hard for Sean to get the belt back from him if he keeps it for a while. So going to the co-main event, your girl Valentina Shevchenko finally gets the belt back after 3 battles, with the champion, and great to see her finally get her hand raised. Alexa Grasso, employed a good style in the first fight, was able to somehow grind out a split draw in the second fight, but this was a one-sided affair in this third fight, and Valentina really proved that she deserves the belt, and it was great to see her get her hand raised after a very, 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 very good performance by her.
Proved that she was a superior fighter.
Yeah.
Now, Grasso was very dangerous, threatening submissions off her back, but it was pretty calculated still by Shevchenko, knowing she's going to be able to do this, but I just have to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. Yeah. And she dominated the grappling aspect. Dominated it. Like she basically just took the fight and said, what's the easiest path for me to win this fight? Just take her down. And that's exactly what she did over and over and over again. And Grasso kept finding herself on her back, trying to find submissions. But as the rounds wore on, those submissions are going to be harder and harder to get because you're both sweating, you're both slick. Submissions are going to slip off. And so, yeah, man, it was a very convincing win by Shevchenko. Yeah. And by the way, that third fight is the last fight between these two women. Not happening again. It's over.
Yeah, that dominant performance doesn't make anybody want to see a rematch between them. So be interesting to see the next opponents for both of them. We'll see how it shakes down, but yeah, we'll talk about that another day. The featherweight matchup between Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega was the fight I was really excited for outside of the co-main and main, and it delivered. It was a fantastic fight. I'm never excited when I see a number 12 against a number 3. I think that's too much of a jump, but Diego Lopez proved me wrong and showed that he is the superior fighter. A very, very great win over a super tough guy in T-City Brian Ortega. And now he's the third-ranked fighter and an opportunity at a title fight very soon.
Yep, very soon. Almost had Ortega out of there in the first round. So, only reason why Ortega survived is because he's Brian Ortega and he's super tough. Yeah. But that was a sick combination. Overhand right hand followed by a nasty left hook, and almost got the ground and pound finish. Yeah. Almost. Close. But Ortega is tough, managed to survive that, and then even come on a little bit in round 3 because he had an excellent round 3. But Lopez won that fight. Definitely runs round 1 and 2. So yeah, he was super impressive. Deserved the win. And what do you think? One more fight and then he gets to fight for the belt, or no, he doesn't need to do anything more. Just has to wait.
Well, I heard somebody ask if he could be the alternate for the title fight that's coming up, and Dana White said, "Yeah, I don't see why not. I think that would be smart to have him in there to be that alternate." So, yeah, I would say he'll be there waiting. If he doesn't get that shot, then he'll fight the winner that comes out of that.
Yeah, I think so. I thought about it and I'm like, does he actually need to fight anybody more before he fights for the belt? I'm like, I don't think so. No. Just all you have to do is wait now. So
that's it. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, briefly, that fight of the night ended up being the fight right before that Lopez Ortega fight, and this was the Argentinian Esteban Ribovic against the Mexican Daniel Zellhuber. Dana White said it was one of his favorite fights that he's ever seen in his entire life. This fight was an absolute war. They landed 277 significant strikes total, and Zellhuber looked like a bobblehead at times in there. He was just getting hit and moving and getting hit and moving and just showing so much heart and desire and Mexican fighting spirit. This was a hell of a fight. Very fun. Both of them got 50K bonus for it. And yeah, definitely deserved fight of the night.
Definitely deserved fight of the night. These guys brought it. Thank goodness they were part of the main card, or else I don't know what to say about how the main card would have been without that fight.
Yeah.
Like they were absolutely awesome. They were awesome to see.
Yeah.
The fact that Zellhuber didn't fall in the third round, I don't. That Mexican pride thing, that's the real thing, man.
Yeah.
That Mexican toughness, that's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because anybody else would have been knocked out. But he just kept bobbing and weaving and moving. And like he survived Ribovic's attack. I think I got for around 90 seconds. 90 seconds of this guy just beating on you. And he managed to survive. And then came back at the end of that round and hit him with some great shots. So I was super impressed. It was obviously the best fight of the entire night. And I hope they not only got the 50,000, but some locker room bonus money as well, because they definitely deserve that.
They sure did. Yeah. The Mexicans were 3-6 on the night. Out of the 9 fighters, only 3 won. But you just saw the Mexican fighting spirit and so many of them that didn't win, that just wouldn't quit and just were, relentless. To get it to a decision sometimes was just shocking. They were in all sorts of trouble, but just absolutely no quit in them. It's pretty cool to see a fight card that stacked with all Mexicans, and how many of them just showed you this warrior mentality that never give up, never die. Rodriguez got a really good victory over Odie Osborne to kick off the main card. The prelim card, that Norma Dumont beat up Irina Aldana so badly. The cut on her forehead was one of the biggest gashes I've ever seen on a human being's face. And she just battled all the way to a decision after getting a headbutt that opened her up, and it just got worse through the punches and the punishment. But to make it to the final bell was shocking to me.
Yeah, she literally made it to the bell. But the other thing that I just couldn't believe, she kept pushing forward.
Yeah.
Forward pressure the entire time. Even when she was all split open and just like, oh, I can see your skull. That's kind of gross. But yeah, Aldana, I was impressed with her will to win. But Dumont definitely had her number. I thought she was the more efficient, better striker. Yeah. And yeah, man. And definitely when it came to the counters from Dumont, like they were very telling strikes.
Very amazing shots. Some of the shots that Dumont landed were phenomenal. Yeah, just this counter right that she landed and dropped her a couple times. Incredible. Ignacio Bahamundes got a 50K bonus as well for beating Manuel Torres. He got the only knockout of the night, 4 minutes into the first round. Really amazingly nice KO, and yeah, well-deserved bonus.
Yeah, well-deserved bonus. I think dropped the Torres with the right hand, and then got the little bit of ground and pound. It was over, but Bahamundes looked fantastic in that fight.
Caitlin Souza, the Brazilian, got the victory over Yasmin Yeregi, the Mexican. She dropped her with a fantastic left hook, jumped on her and threw in that rear naked choke so quickly. Sergey can be the first person to say that she slept in the octagon and woke up in the sphere. And so it was crazy how fast she went out. That was just lethal and quick, and no chance for her to even tap.
No chance whatsoever. I was impressed with the speed that she sunk in that rear naked choke after she dropped her. And yeah, she had no chance to even tap. Game over.
Yeah, Joshua Van, a very impressive win over Edgar Shirez, and Raul Rosas Jr., not the most exciting, but he got the win. That young guy keeps going and got the Mexicans a victory off the bat. I love the visuals, those 90-second visuals that they had between the fights. The main card were incredible, absolutely amazing. Those little 90-second movies that they had. I only can say that I was hoping to see some footage from some fights from Mexicans. Julio Cesar Chavez, Canelo Alvarez. I would have loved to see some of the battles that Mexicans had in the ring, in the cage. There's Mexicans with Mexican heritage that have done things. I just thought they would put together some visual packages of some of the fights that have happened before. They didn't do that. That's the only thing that I can say negative about this card.
Yeah, you're right. Like they mentioned, like, like the names of the famous Mexican boxers and stuff, but they didn't show any highlights. I don't know if that was due to they'd have to pay for the rights of that. You know what I mean? Like where he said, well, the production value was already 20 million and we just didn't want to pay any more money. I get it. I understand. But still, I love the stories. Yeah. I love the video vignettes. And like, again, the visuals were absolutely incredible. It was so cool to see. Like it blew me away. Like I was blown away.
So was I. It was incredible. Yeah. Okay, we got a 1 week break for the UFC. Fight night, next one, September the 28th. We've got Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis in the main event. Should be great. They've been announcing a lot of the upcoming cards. 307 in Salt Lake City, 308 in Abu Dhabi, and 309 finally got announced this weekend. We get John Jones versus Stipe, November 16th, MSG. On the card, Charles Oliveira against Michael Chandler, Bo Nickel versus Paul Craig, Natalia Silva versus Viviana Araujo, Anthony Lionheart Smith, and Dominic Reyes, and Chris Weidman and Eric Anders. Really great cards coming up. I'm glad that 309 was finally announced, and looking forward to seeing these pay-per-views coming up in the coming months.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to it, and especially the Stipe John Jones fight. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. Yeah. Don't hurt yourself, boys. I need to see this fight. I need to see it through so that we can see whoever wins that fight Tom Aspinall. And if it is John Jones, does he just ride off into the sunset? Because I think if he beats Stipe, he may fight Aspinall, and if he beats Aspinall, he's done. I think he retires immediately after that.
Jones talked to some people this past weekend, and it really sounded like he was leaning towards beating Stipe and then retiring. So that could be it. Yeah. Canelo Alvarez also fought in Vegas this past weekend. We talked about it heading in. He ended up winning a one-sided 12-round decision over Edgar Berlanga. He was able to went to the judges' scorecards. He won it 118, 109 on two of the cards, 117, 111 on the other card. He dropped him with a left hook in the third round and dominated almost every round going further. That's his 26th win in a title fight. Gave Berlanga his first loss ever. 62, 2-2 now with 39 knockouts. He asked for Dmitry Bivol next, wants to avenge that loss. Too much of a weight class jump up for him, I think. But Bivol's fighting Archer Beterbiev in October, so he's got more important things to worry about at this point. But Canelo wants to avenge that loss, so it probably happens.
Yeah, definitely will happen because Bivol is just like, that's my biggest payday. So, yeah, it's gonna happen. But I think the weight, I think the weight's too much. I thought it was too much in the first time when he fought him. Like sometimes you just asking too much from yourself. It's like, no, man, that's not gonna work out so well for you.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work out. So, but either way, I'll probably watch it because Canelo's awesome. He's always been awesome. And Berlanga was game. I'm gonna give him that. But when you fight the best, you got to be right up there with them, or else you just, I'm sorry, man, you don't have a shot.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Well, we ran pretty long, but we had tons of stuff to cover. Glad we did it. Loved it as always. What is your jersey? I should have mentioned that earlier. What are you wearing there? What's that one?
Oh, Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, the
Old
Bucks.
school Warwick Dunn.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I wore it because in Baker we trust. In Baker we trust.
Love it. Yeah. Bucks, man. Bucks are great. This team is super solid, and Mayfield, resurrected his career. This is incredible.
Yeah, I like the fact that him and Darnold have just found themselves again, and I think that's a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, and I hope that they have continued success throughout the entirety of the season because that's just cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Okay, well, enjoy your Falcons victory and have a great night. And we will, we'll talk through the week. Hope you don't have to work too hard tomorrow.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate this, and we will talk later.
Okay, but cheers. Have a good night. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for sticking 2.5 hour podcast. It was a little longer than we expected, but I hope you enjoyed it. We packed in a ton of sports as always. Now we've got the NFL. We got 16 games on top. It's a lot to cover through. Hope you enjoyed that UFC. Hope you guys got a chance to see it. It was amazing, ultimately incredible. If you didn't, try to find it. It was something that we will never forget ever again. So, and do want to thank our partners and sponsors. Thanks so much for all your support as always. Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Just go to their website and they can help you do that. We want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick is a must-have for anybody in your hockey family. Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast beautiful things for your home. Get them in there. They will spruce it up and make it look beautiful. And last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. So take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead. Let's hope and pray that the summer lasts at least another few weeks, if not a month, and we get some great weather. So take care of yourself. Have a nice week ahead. Love you lots. Bye for now.